Hey guys, just a word on this secession thing. I know there's been a lot of talk out there. Dave Sardi and Irish and several others that have made comments on this secession. Kind of a touchy subject, really. I got to say that I agree with Dave on the fact that putting your name on a list to prove to the now oppressive government that you're somebody they should be looking at to exercise the NDAA bill, probably not a good idea. Irish brought up some good points as to the fact that we should be, we should be able to exercise our disdain for the choices that our government has made, in regards to the Constitution and constitutional law. I also agree with the statement that Dave made about case law being kind of the downfall of our judicial system here in the States. He's right. When they quit applying the Constitution and started applying some judge's ideology, we were fucked. And we're going to continue to be that way as long as attorneys and bureaucrats run our country for the most part. Career politicians are a dangerous thing. Okay, you get people in there that have been sitting as a Supreme Court justice or as a congressman or senator or House representative for some of them for over a decade. It has given them too long to get comfortable and not enough accountability to the people that they represent. The rights of the common man anymore are based on a plea bargain now. They're not based on a factual finding from constitutional law or your inalienable rights. They're not found that way. You can be charged now with something so mundane as a traffic violation, and you can go to court and you can plead your case, and the first thing that the DA, that the district attorney, the DA, is going to want to do is offer you a plea bargain. It's never going to be offered to you that, we've reviewed your case and we find you not guilty. That's not going to be their position on it at all, ever. They are going to tell you, we've reviewed your case, we realize that the infraction is minimal, and so we're prepared to offer you a plea bargain. Okay? And this will go all the way up to and including vehicular homicide. They will plea bargain it, offer you a plea bargain, okay? And irregardless of your guilt is what I'm trying to say. Someone else is clearly at fault in this incident, and the DA will never offer you a not guilty verdict out the door. Charges dismissed, you're free to go. Won't happen. He will review your case. He will realize that if it goes to trial, chances are you're going to beat whatever charge they have against you. So the first thing he's going to do is offer you a plea bargain. Plead to a lesser charge. But make no mistake, you will plead guilty to that charge. And your choice being, do I hire a high-priced attorney? Can I afford to hire a high-priced attorney? Can I afford to lose work to defend myself? The list goes on and on. And eventually most people run out of money. Long before the court system runs out of people being paid to ass rape you, you will run out of money. You will run out of defense funds long before they run out of the ambition to ass fuck you. So, that being said, we go back to constitutional law, and you are clearly either guilty or not guilty in the eye of the law. Followed by the letter of the law, you will be either found guilty, found innocent. If found guilty, you will be handed down a sentence accordingly. Okay? That's not the case with case-by-case law. That's not the case with this corrupt judicial system. It's surely not the case with a corrupt governing entity that is willing to put up a bill such as the NDAA. It just doesn't happen. These are not people who have true justice and the pursuit of liberty in mind when they did this. This was a tyrannical intent to gain control. So the people who have signed these petitions went to whitehouse.org, signed up, said, yep, I'm all for my state being blank state should secede from the Union. They're just frustrated people. They're just people who have ran out of other options. They are, a lot of them, I'm sure, are folks that went to the ballot box on the 6th and said, fuck Obama, fuck the NDAA, fuck large government. They voted for Gary Johnson, or they wrote in Ron Paul, or whatever they chose to do. And of course, the system just steamrolled over their ideology. It steamrolled over their opinion, and went right ahead and reinstated a president that, by default and by his own track record, is unqualified. He's doing things that are totally against constitutional proxy in this country. And so those people that go to these websites and they sign up for these petitions and they just want their voice heard, they're just angry. These are people that you're going to have to watch their evolution when they're not heard, when they're not addressed, when their concerns are not validated by anyone in a position of power. They write to their congressmen, they write to their senators, their representatives on every level, and are just ignored. Well, eventually, they wind up like, a neglected child. They lash out in ways that sometimes are, detrimental even to their own safety, their own well-being, their own welfare. But hey, when you cannot get anyone to listen to you any other way, you just increasingly escalate the attention that you draw to yourself. And what needs to happen is not to leave these people to their own devices. It is for other folks that think the same way, that have the same libertarian beliefs or whatever the case might be, the same constitutional bias, need to form groups, need to form an alliance with these people, give them an out, and then give them a constructive means of which to apply that energy. We're not doing it by our, in my opinion, corrupt electoral system. I'm a firm believer myself that the Electoral College should be abolished. I mean, it just should be. In today's age, there's no use for it. It's just too much chance for corruption, in my opinion. It's just another avenue of corruption that is there to be exploited by, whoever it is that chooses to exploit it, really. We don't need that anymore. Now, we have, in the day of technology that we're in currently, we have no use for the Electoral College. That fucking thing should be abolished. We should go back to a colonial style vote, where the votes are tallied, and it takes 4 days, 5 days, whatever it is, to get the results in. We're okay with that. Us as free Americans, liberty-loving Americans, if it takes us 4 days, we wait 4 years to correct things that we don't appreciate or don't like in the system now. I'm sure that we can wait 3, 4, 5 days to get the votes tallied and a legitimate electoral result posted. I'm sure we can do that. So instead of focusing on going and signing bogus petitions, guys, work harder at developing that alliance with your fellow Americans who think like you, your fellow libertarians, your fellow constitutionalists, your fellow patriots. Get out there, form some groups that actually put boots on the ground and do some work, do some good. You see that the Republican and Democratic parties both have, a bunch of fucking brainwashed college kids out there politicking for them for months ahead of time. We don't see that from our own grassroots libertarian and constitutional parties. We don't see that. Ron Paul gets out there, he does his little, spiel as best he can before the mass media runs him over. And that's where we needed to step in this deal. We needed to get out there and put it to the people that, hey, this is the people's candidate. Okay, to hell with the two-party system. We need to get behind the people that we believe in. Not some bullshit internet petition that's just going to get you labeled. So, give me your thoughts, man. Talk to y'all later. Watch your six.